Hey everyone, Miles Hartley here. I'm a 44-year-old landscape architect based right here in Austin, Texas, and I'm about to share a story with you that completely reshaped my understanding of home, trust, and what it truly means to build something that lasts. It was a Tuesday evening, the kind where the Texas heat finally breaks and you can almost hear the cicadas. I was in my home office, staring at an email from Sarah, my wife of 13 years, who was supposedly on a wellness retreat in Costa Rica. The timestamp on her message read 10:47 p.m. her time. It was short, blunt. I've moved your trust into my private account. It's better this way. Attached was a grainy photo. Her, laughing with some guy on a sun-drenched balcony holding tropical drinks. Her smile was different. A wild, unburdened joy I hadn't seen directed at me in years. I closed my laptop. The silence that followed was louder than any argument we'd ever had. That money, nearly $600,000 from my grandfather, wasn't just funds. It was his legacy, a testament to the man who'd taught me everything about integrity, about building foundations that would weather any storm. His final words to me: "Create something enduring, son." Sarah had just tried to dismantle it all with a single click. I met Sarah 15 years ago at a design expo in Denver. She was building her organic skincare empire, looking for landscape architects to conceptualize her first retail space's exterior. I was fresh out of grad school, eager to bring green spaces to urban jungles. We married within 2 years, built a life in Austin, bought the modern farmhouse with the sprawling backyard she'd always dreamed of. For nearly a decade, it worked. I crafted landscapes. She grew her brand. We hosted gatherings, traveled, looked picture perfect. But then my grandfather, Arthur, fell ill. He'd raised me after my parents passed when I was young, always emphasizing patience and precision. I took a 4-month leave to be with him. Sarah visited twice, citing work pressures. When he passed, he left me everything. Not just money, but a sprawling vintage map collection, a treasure I'd never known he possessed. Sarah, however, seemed only interested in the financials. "We should invest it in the company's expansion," she suggested one evening, her eyes gleaming. Her company, she meant. I hesitated. "I need to honor Grandpa's wishes first," I remember saying. That was the first hairline fracture. Others followed. Her market research trips became longer, her phone glued to her hand. Our neighbor Beth casually mentioned seeing Sarah being dropped off late one night by some guy with a motorcycle. I just filed it away. Then came the sudden password changes, the hurried hang-ups when I walked into a room. One night I found her on the patio, whispering into her phone, a laugh escaping that was alien to our shared quiet. "Just my marketing director," she'd said, gliding inside. Her marketing director who'd moved to Portland 6 months prior. The foundation of our life was slowly crumbling, and I was starting to see only one of us was willing to acknowledge the debris. 2 weeks before Sarah left for what would be her final retreat, my firm's financial advisor called. "Someone's been attempting to access your trust accounts," Daniel said, his voice grave. "Using your personal info but failing security protocols." I knew instantly. "The inheritance funds?" I asked. He confirmed. "They used the last 4 digits of your SSN but couldn't answer the legacy questions your grandfather set up." I thanked him, hung up, and sat in quiet contemplation. That night Sarah suggested consolidating our accounts. "It's silly, all these separate logins," she'd said, avoiding my gaze. "We should simplify everything." "You're probably right," I'd conceded, a plan already forming. The next day, I drove to Dallas to meet with Eleanor Vance, Grandpa Arthur's attorney for decades, now mine. I laid out my concerns, factual and unemotional. "Your grandfather was remarkably prescient with the irrevocable trust structure," Eleanor noted after I finished. "The funds are fully protected regardless of marital shifts. Any unauthorized attempt to move them would be attempted financial fraud." I nodded. "Let's document everything," I said. "And I want a monitoring system that flags any attempts to access or change the trust." When I returned home, Sarah was packing. "I might extend this one," she'd said, kissing me briefly, already distant. really immerse myself. I helped her load her bags, watched her car disappear down the driveway. Then I opened our shared cloud storage, a folder labeled Future Home Renovations, where we kept design ideas. And there it was. Documents she'd forgotten to delete. Screenshots of my account details, notes on transfer protocols, even a photo of a whiteboard with figures. My inheritance amount, minus 15% with the note transaction fee. She'd been planning this for months. I closed the folder, walked through the elegant, silent house we'd built, and felt a strange clarity. Not rage, not grief, but a profound understanding. Our marriage, for her, had become a transaction, and now she was trying to cash out. After receiving Sarah's email, I waited. Exactly 24 hours. No frantic calls, no emotional texts, just methodical steps. First, I forwarded her email to Daniel and Eleanor. Documentation requested. Both confirmed receipt. No explanation needed. Then I called Marcus Thorne, a divorce attorney Eleanor had quietly recommended months ago. His assistant scheduled a meeting for that afternoon. By noon, Sarah texted, "Did you get my email?" My one-word reply, "Yes." Her immediate follow-up, "That's all you have to say?" I didn't respond. Instead, I drove to Marcus's office, where Eleanor joined us via video call. The attempted transfer creates an undeniable paper trail, Marcus explained, reviewing the documents. The inherited funds were never commingled. They're in an ironclad trust, and she's openly admitted to unauthorized access. "What's next?" I asked. "File for divorce immediately," Marcus said, citing financial misconduct. Texas isn't a no-fault state when fraud's involved. I signed the paperwork then and there. At 4:30 p.m., Sarah called. "You're being childish," she snapped. "This doesn't have to be difficult." "I agree," I said, my voice calm. "Then let's be adults about this. The money is already moved. Fighting it will just drain more through legal fees." "Where are you staying?" I asked, shifting the subject. A confused pause. "What does that matter?" "Just curious where home is now." "Miles, focus. My lawyer's drawing up settlement papers. It's better for both of us to keep this clean." "Who's your lawyer?" I asked. "Jessica Lang. She's already reviewing everything." I wrote down the name. "That's helpful. Thank you, Sarah." "Are you even listening? This doesn't have to be difficult," she repeated, exasperated. "You said that already," I replied, keeping my tone neutral. I could almost hear her relax, misinterpreting my calm as resignation. "It's for the best," she softened. "We've been moving in different directions for years." "You're right," I agreed. "Cleaner is better." After we hung up, I called Marcus and gave him Jessica Lang's information. Then a single text to Sarah. "Taking some time to process. We'll reach out when ready to discuss details." Her reply was instantaneous. "Don't wait too long. Papers will be ready by Friday." Friday, 3 days away. Perfect timing. At 6 p.m., Eleanor called. The trust company recorded 4 separate attempts to initiate transfers today, all blocked. And the monitoring system captured everything. IP addresses, login attempts, timestamps. The access location matches where the email originated from, Costa Rica. "There's more," she added. "The system flagged suspicious activity from last month. Someone exported account details and transfer protocols while logged in through your home network. We have timestamps and device identifiers." I thanked her, hung up, and walked through the now silent, echoing house. In the kitchen, I poured myself a generous measure of the vintage mezcal we'd been saving for our 15th anniversary. Sarah thought she'd set the trap. She had no idea she'd walked right into one herself. The next morning, Jessica Lang called. Her voice was professionally guarded. "Mr. Hartley, I'm representing your wife in your separation. She indicated you're amenable to a straightforward settlement." "Is that what she said?" I asked, a slight hesitation. "She mentioned you understood the situation." "Which situation would that be specifically?" Another pause. "The division of assets, including recent inheritance funds. Has she shown you documentation of these funds?" She's provided statements, Jessica said carefully. Recent ones from approximately 3 months ago, and transfer confirmations. She's indicated those are forthcoming from the bank. I see. I kept my voice neutral. Has she also mentioned the structure of the inheritance? The irrevocable trust established by my late grandfather? The legal impossibility of what she's claiming to have done? Silence. Mrs. Lang, I suggest you verify the information you've been given before proceeding. My attorney will send relevant documentation to your office today. After hanging up, I drove to Cityside Bank, where Sarah and I had kept our personal accounts for years. Harold, the branch manager, knew us well. I need to review recent activity on all joint accounts, I explained. Harold's expression shifted as he scrolled. There have been significant withdrawals over the past 3 months. How significant? He turned the monitor towards me. Regular transfers from our joint account to one I didn't recognize. Small at first, $1,500, then escalating. The most recent, $35,000 2 weeks ago. This receiving account? I asked, pointing. Is it with Cityside? Harold checked. No, external. Green Valley Credit Union. I'd never heard of it. Can you print the transaction history for the past 6 months? While waiting, Marcus texted, Lang requesting urgent meeting. Tone significantly changed. By the time I returned to Marcus's office, the picture was crystal clear. The Green Valley account had been opened 8 months ago, in Sarah's name only. The address listed was an apartment in San Jose, Costa Rica. Total withdrawals from our joint accounts, $155,000. She's been building a new life for a while, Marcus observed. While still having access to mine, I added. We were reviewing the records when Marcus's assistant announced Jessica Lang was on the line. I've received the trust documentation, Lang said, her voice tight. My client may have misrepresented certain aspects of the financial situation, including her ability to access or transfer those funds, Marcus interjected. That appears to be the case, Lang admitted. Given this new information, I believe it would be beneficial to discuss a revised approach. My client has already filed for divorce citing financial misconduct, Marcus replied. The documentation speaks for itself. After the call, Marcus looked at me. She'll drop Sarah as a client by end of day. No legitimate attorney wants this kind of liability. What about the money she actually took from the joint accounts? I asked. We'll include it in the filing. Document everything. Let her explain to a judge why she established a hidden residence and systematically drained marital assets. I nodded, feeling a strange emptiness. The betrayal went deeper than I'd imagined. This wasn't impulsive. It was calculated, planned over months while she slept beside me, ate across from me, made plans with me. There's one more thing, I said. I need to know who he is. Not for confrontation, not for the divorce. Just to understand the full scope of what I'd missed. Marcus nodded. I'll have someone look into it. That evening, my doorbell rang. A courier handed me an envelope. Inside was a letter from Jessica Lang, formally withdrawing as Sarah's legal representation, with copies sent to Sarah and the court. Attached was a note from Marcus. First domino. My phone lit up moments later. Sarah calling. I let it go to voicemail. She called 3 more times, then sent a text. What the hell did you do? I didn't respond. While making myself dinner, I received an email from Eleanor. Update. The trust company had completed their investigation. Multiple unauthorized attempts over 3 months, all captured in detailed logs with IP addresses and timestamps. The report was attached along with confirmation they'd referred the matter to their legal department for potential criminal investigation. No action required from you at this time, Eleanor wrote. But be aware, this path is now open. I forwarded everything to Marcus. Just after 9 p.m., another text from Sarah. We need to talk now, I replied. Through your new attorney, when you have one. You've completely overreacted. I was angry when I sent that email. I didn't actually move anything. That's not what the access logs show. A long pause before her next message. What access logs? Instead of answering, I sent one question. Who is he? 20 minutes passed. Finally, this isn't about him. Name? Another long pause. Leo. But he's not important. Martinez. He's just a friend helping me through this. You're focusing on the wrong thing. I didn't respond further. Instead, I searched the name, found a Leo Martinez, who taught at a mindfulness studio in San Jose, former wealth management advisor, according to his LinkedIn. Left the financial sector 2 years ago to embrace more authentic living. The next morning, I met with Beth, our neighbor. The guy you saw dropping Sarah off, I began. Would you recognize him again? Beth nodded slowly. Tall guy, dark hair, drives a black convertible. I showed her the photo from Sarah's email. This him? She squinted. Yeah, that's the guy. He was here maybe 6, 7 times while you were traveling. I thanked her, asked if she'd provide a statement. She agreed without hesitation. At 11 a.m., Marcus called. We've got a complication. Sarah's hired Benjamin Cross. Cross had a reputation for aggressive divorce litigation. Expensive, but effective. He's requested an emergency hearing to contest the financial misconduct claim, Marcus continued. Says his client has evidence all financial decisions were discussed and agreed upon. When's the hearing? Monday morning, 3 days away. I thought about the apartment in San Jose, the Green Valley account, the man named Leo who'd been in my house while I was away. Let's give Cross something to think about, I said. That afternoon, Marcus delivered a package to Cross's office containing copies of everything. The trust access logs, the bank records showing systematic withdrawals, the apartment lease in San Jose, Beth's notarized statement about Leo's visits, and screenshots from Sarah's home renovation ideas folder showing her notes on how to access my accounts. By 5 p.m., Marcus received a call from Cross requesting an urgent meeting to discuss settlement options. He's seen enough, Marcus told me afterward. Offered a clean split. She keeps what she already took, makes no further claims. You keep everything else, including the house and full inheritance. Counter, I said. She returns half of what she took from joint accounts and signs a non-disclosure agreement. I don't pursue the fraud angle. Marcus raised an eyebrow. You could get more. I don't want more, I said. I want done. The morning of what would have been our emergency hearing, Sarah and her attorney arrived at the courthouse to find Marcus waiting with a settlement agreement already prepared. No Cross, no judge, no public spectacle. I waited in the consultation room while Marcus explained the terms. Sarah would transfer $77,500, half the money taken from joint accounts, back within 24 hours. She would make no claims against the inheritance or any other assets. She would sign a non-disclosure agreement, preventing her from discussing our marriage or divorce with anyone. In exchange, I would not pursue any fraud charges related to the attempted theft of trust funds. Through the glass walls, I saw her face as Marcus handed over the evidence file, photographs, statements, account logs. Her expression shifted from defiance to shock to something like defeat. She glanced toward the room where I sat, then quickly looked away. Cross reviewed everything, leaning close to whisper in her ear. She nodded slowly. 10 minutes later, they entered the room. My client accepts the terms, Cross stated formally. Marcus slid the agreement across the table. Sarah signed without reading it, her handwriting shaky but determined. I signed my portion, then slid a separate envelope across to her. What's this? She asked, the first word she'd spoken. The passwords, I said. To the cloud storage, house alarm, everything else you might need to get whatever you left behind. Her eyes finally met mine, searching for anger or triumph. Finding neither, she looked more lost than I'd ever seen her. It was never about the money, I said quietly. That would have been simpler. Cross touched her elbow, guiding her to stand. She clutched the envelope as they left, never looking back. 6 months later, I sold the farmhouse on the outskirts of Austin. Too many empty rooms, too many memories to repaint over. The new owners, a young couple with ambitious plans for a garden, loved the sprawling yard and the towering oak tree I'd carefully cultivated. I moved to a loft downtown, walking distance to my firm's office, bought less furniture, kept fewer things. Eleanor helped me restructure my grandfather's inheritance into a foundation supporting environmental design scholarships for students focused on sustainable urban planning. Its first recipient was a 19-year-old from West Texas, whose essay about designing resilient cities resonated deeply with the selection committee. Arthur would have loved her, Eleanor said when we awarded the scholarship. I thought about my grandfather often, his quiet strength, his insistence that creating something truly enduring required equal parts vision and vigilance. One afternoon, collecting mail in the lobby of my building, I found an envelope with no return address. Inside was a check for exactly $77,500 and a brief note. The rest of what I owed. Not just the money. No signature. None needed. That evening, I walked down to the Zilker Park where Sarah and I had once talked about opening a joint venture. A sustainable garden cafe I would design, she would operate. A dream that had died long before our marriage had. I sat on a bench watching the city lights flicker on, the check still in my pocket. Tomorrow I would deposit it into the foundation account. Another scholarship. Another chance to build something that might last. My phone buzzed with a text from Daniel. Dinner still on for 7, bringing that urban planner I mentioned. I glanced at my watch. Just enough time to walk home, change, and head to the restaurant. Just enough time to decide to say yes to whatever came next. On my way, I texted back, "On my way," and stood to face the evening. Sometimes the strongest response to betrayal isn't revenge. It's rebuilding, and that's my story. It was a challenging time, but ultimately, it brought me incredible clarity. It taught me that true wealth isn't just about money. It's about integrity, purpose, and building a life that truly reflects who you are. If you've ever gone through a tough transition, remember that sometimes the best way forward is to look within and start building something new. Thanks for watching. If Miles's journey resonated with you, if you've ever stood at the crossroads of betrayal and found the courage to forge a new path, we'd love to hear your story. Share your experiences, your wisdom, and the lessons you've learned in the comments below. Your journey can be a powerful light for others navigating similar storms, offering hope and practical insight. And if you're seeking more narratives of resilience, reinvention, and discovering unexpected strength in the face of adversity, be sure to hit that subscribe button and become a part of our growing community. Together, we can continue to explore what it truly means to build something meaningful and lasting, even when the foundations feel shaken. Beyond the personal stories, we often delve into the practical steps and mindset shifts that empower us to move forward. From insights into financial independence to strategies for emotional recovery and the joy of finding new purpose, our channel is a space dedicated to embracing change and designing a life that truly reflects who you are. Join us as we build a future anchored in authenticity and strength. We invite you to join us. We're here to share stories, offer guidance, and build a community where every step, no matter how small, is celebrated.